Hey, you, in the carpool lane.
I know you're waiting for the podcast to start, but first, can we talk about that car? It's time for an upgrade, and we know the best place to buy it. Vandergrift Toyota, Honda, and Acura. You'll get a great deal on a dependable new or pre-owned family car and the best price for your trade. For more than 20 years, Vandergrift has attracted customers from across Texas with their award-winning service and exceptional selection. Plus, you can feel great about your purchase knowing Vandergrift supports local schools and charities with thousands of dollars in donations. Come for the sale, stay for the service. First-class service only from Vandergrift. Now pull up, would you? You're holding up the line.
It is No Gifts, Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey, everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And hello there, I'm Jenny Anchondo.
I'm still giggling from our pre-roll here. Discussing family obligations and family responsibilities.
Well, we're trying to sign. We're not. I gave over a task. Who is calling you mid-show?
I've got to turn my phone off. Sorry. Yeah.
Who is so important outside of your life besides me and Spider? I don't know who it is. So yeah, I gave Heath the task of signing up for basketball. Just forwarded him the email that has the link. He's like, "Did you forward that so that I was in the loop?" Or so I could sign her up. I'm like, please sign her up.
Will he?
He will. It'll just be like, there might be a couple complaints.
Will you? Okay, so but
complainy planes here and there.
But so he will, but will you then double check to make sure he did it correctly? Or will you trust that you gave him a task and he has completed it?
No, I'll trust.
Oh,
also,
really?
I'm not so invested in basketball. If it was another sport, I might double check. If this was cheer tryouts, I might double check, or I wouldn't have even sent it to him. But he has offered to. He said, let him know I'd be happy to be assistant coach or do something like that. So I figured, nice. Okay, well, let's let you do your thing.
Right. And it's also nice. I mean, we both have relatively introverted husbands, so it's nice to have him have a thing, which is nice.
Because otherwise we're going to all the things and dragging them to all the things, and there could be resentment there. I don't know. Haven't asked.
We had a soccer, so we're winding down the soccer season. And, I have to say, I was really proud of Jacob. He, had asked to sign up for soccer, and I don't really know that it's his jam.
On account of him telling you he doesn't want to do it? Was that the giveaway?
At one point he was facing the complete opposite direction that the game was happening in and just not. And I was like, buddy, it's over there. It's happening over there. But he likes playing goalie. The problem can be, though, and he's not bad at it, but like some of these kids, I got to say, they're like, and again, Doug and I are not in the yard playing soccer with him at any point during the week. So
never.
I don't know.
Relying on
what magical thing I think is going to like make you excel at this when I put forth zero effort in training you. But some of these kids are really good, and they're kind of at that age. Again, we didn't hold him back, so he's 6. The boys are 7. One of the kids on the other team the other day, I swear this kid was at least 8. I was like, you are a man.
No, I believe it. I believe it.
A man.
8-year-olds in Dallas are in kindergarten. Yes, 100.
It's great. Well, first grade, right? I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, so he likes playing goalie. And I will say I was really proud of him because he got to play goalie in the third quarter and he did great. 2 shots on goal and he blocked both of them.
Oh, yes.
I was over there and I looked at one point and he had kind of like wrapped himself up in like the net and was kind of playing. And I was like, okay, buddy, we got to kind of like the game's happening. It's going to happen fast and whatever. But afterwards I had said to him, because he said on the way there, he said, I want to play goalie. And I said, okay, well, I'll ask the coach if he can play goalie, which I inadvertently did not do. So I said to him afterwards, I said, did coach ask you to be the goalie? And he said, no, I wanted to do it. So I asked him if I could.
Yes,
and I was
Jacob.
Like, I am so proud of you.
Because you almost tabled him by going to the coach and being like,
excuse me, my son would...
He's disinterested in running right now, which I totally understand. So can he please play goalie?
Oh, right. Running is on his list of you know what? It's on his list of pet peeves, which is a nice transition. Remember the other day we were doing 5 rapid questions, right?
Yes,
Real 5, we called it, right? One of the questions you asked me was my pet peeves, and there are several, and I was stumped at the time.
Oh, but so he comes back with
followed
more.
Up. I have a list.
He has a list. He's like,
a list.
Don't think that I'm here unbothered in the world.
I'm very bothered quite often. Okay, you ready? Here's my list. And I would like to know if you agree with any of these. Mm-hmm. Number 1, dogs in stores. Drives me insane. Unless it is a service animal. Drives me insane. I do not want to be at the grocery store and round the corner and see your Great Dane staring me in the face. I do not want to be at Home Depot where you are walking your dogs in stores. 2, having to download digital coupons to get the advertised price at the grocery store. Drives me nuts.
I simply don't
Green
do that,
seedless grapes, 99 cents. And then in very tiny letters, it'll say with digital coupon. And I'm like, okay, is my loyalty card not enough?
No, I think so. Here's what's been happening to me. I think that I must see it and then assume that I'm getting the 99-cent price, and I didn't check the receipt, and so I just didn't.
Right. Yeah. Okay. People who back into spots when we're not at a sporting event. It's CVS, man. Come on. Like, what are we doing?
Why are sporting events okay?
Because I feel like in that respect, when massive amount of people are trying to leave a parking lot, it is easier if people back in, so you can just kind of pull out into the flow of traffic.
I kind of admire someone who can back in without hitting someone.
I'm good at, listen, I grew up in New York. I can parallel park. I can back in. I mean, I can do all the things, but only when it's necessary. Speaking of parking lots that are blocked for valet.
Oh, okay. This is the one I'm totally with you on.
It drives me insane.
Like, you could just park there and walk, but instead you have to...
If I have to pass my car to get to the valet stand, where I'm from, valet exists when there is not on-site parking.
Yeah.
Where you have to take my vehicle somewhere else because this restaurant does not, drives me insane.
I agree with you on that. 1 million.
Self-checkout, also a pet peeve of mine.
I know it is. Because
oh my God, it drives me
one of my
nuts.
favorite Steve Noviello posts of all time was when you posted a picture from a store and you said, "Oh, great, I work here now."
I mean,
because of the self-checkout. And I think of you every time I do self-checkout. I just did this day and I thought of you.
A line of 20 people and there's 30 self-checkouts and 3 of them are open. What is the logic here? Can we, if I have to work here, I would like to use all of the resources. I would like you to make available all of the lanes. Okay, I've got 3 more.
Oh my gosh. Okay, quickly. I had a moment with this self-checkout the other day that I thought went above and beyond the self-checkout mode. And if this is the way things are going, it is not going to end well. I was at a craft store that I would say I was probably on the lower end of the target age for. Okay. So I get up there, I have 27 million pumpkins in my cart and I'm pushing them, I'm holding them. It's a whole thing. There are 3 young ladies standing there and I'm like, okay, where can I go to check out? They said, oh, are you doing a return? I said, no. And they said, great, you can go to self-checkout. All 3 of them just standing there.
It drives me nuts.
And then somebody else came over and she's just like looking at me. Like, she was the one that had like the little conscience. Because of course they can check you out if they would like to. She's like, so you're going to self-checkout, right? And I was like, yeah, but is there another option? She said, yeah, I can check you out over here.
Like, I'm totally inconvenienced by you being our customer.
And they were just standing there, the 3, to tell people to check themselves out. Yes. It wasn't like they were otherwise occupied stacking pumpkins.
Correct.
That's the part that was crazy.
I've asked before, I've said, why can you? And she said, well, we don't have enough people to monitor all of these lines. Okay, you either trust me to work here or you do not trust me to work here, right? I mean, let's open them all up. Okay.
We're freelancers there.
Something. People who think cilantro is a garnish drives me insane. I am one of those people who do not like cilantro. It is not parsley, people. We don't sprinkle it on top to add a little color. It adds a definite flavor.
Does it do the soap thing in your mouth?
I don't know if soap is the right word. I know that people say, oh, it tastes like soap. I just don't like it.
That's like a scientific thing.
I'm one of those people.
You are.
Correct.
Okay, my mom's one of those as well. It's sad for you all in this current decade that we're in because people put cilantro in everything. I'm living my best life. I am loving it. But for the 2 of you and these other soap or non-soap people, that is very sad.
2 more.
Oh my, you are the most bothered person I know. I'm just like waiting for the one that I've potentially committed.
This, I don't think that happens by your house because of the way that it's situated, but people who park in front of my house when they're not visiting me drives me nuts. And here's why. We live in an old house. The garage is old. I drive a big SUV. Our cars do not fit in our garage. So we need to park them in front of our house. I would like those spots to be available to me, to my mother-in-law, to my husband, so that we can park. It drives me nuts. When we used to have a neighbor who would like park in front of the house and then go away with her girlfriends for a weekend. It would drive me insane. And finally, and I don't know if Heath does this.
So many. We do have a guy that parks in front of our house every single day, but I'm loving it. Yes. And he walks his dog. And so we've been trying to figure out, is he like what? And he comes in a really nice car. So I'm assuming he's coming from like a nice neighborhood of his own, a very expensive car, and he comes and he walks his dog. So in my mind, I've come up with this story that he is like interested in somebody in the neighborhood and is like casually walking his dog around. That's my story. But it's been going on for probably 6 months or more. So I've got no beef with it though, because we've got a lot of space.
Why don't you ask him?
That would be the logical way. But instead, I might be disappointed, but I don't want him to think that I'm annoyed. That's the thing, is I don't want him to think that I'm annoyed, because I'm not. It doesn't really bother me.
When you say in front of, because no one technically lives across the street
True.
from you. So in front of or across the street in front of?
Across the street, but it's like a difference of 10 feet.
See, I'm talking like in front, like on our side of the curb drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Do they block the mailbox?
Well, we don't have that kind of, our mailbox is attached to our house.
Oh.
So it's not one of those.
He or she has to walk up to get the mail.
our letter carrier, who's very nice, by the way. And finally, and I don't know if Heath does this.
Okay.
When Doug asks me a question, and then while I am giving the answer or immediately thereafter, Googles whether or not I am correct.
Oh, I thought you were going to say walks away. That's what Heath does, is he just will walk away if I'm talking for too long, which is why I have to do this with you, because I have so much to say. Google's the answer to verify?
To verify. I'm like, are you Googling me?
That would really
it drives me nuts.
bother me. Do you think he realizes he's doing it? Because I think we're just in such a day and age where we Google everything, so he might not even, it might not be personal.
I think that in his mind, he's both simultaneously asking me and checking the answer, and whichever one of us gets there first, he'll accept the answer.
Oh.
But there are times where he'll be like, I don't think that's true, and then he'll Google it.
So but he would accept you as Google generally.
Unless he's got feelings about it.
Okay. Well, be glad he doesn't walk away while you're telling him the answer.
Well, he does the equivalent digitally, where we will be having like a back and forth conversation via text, and then I will ask a direct question that requires an answer, and then radio silence. Like, what just happened on your end? Did you fall into a hole? Did you throw your phone across the room? Was there a fire of some sort? How does this happen?
I got called into a meeting.
Something.
He's important at his job. I feel like that could happen.
I will say
you are also
relatively.
Fine. Okay,
no, not at my job. I'm relative, but I'm important to him. Listen, you know what?
Oh, that part.
Guess what? Then we're having what I want for dinner if you're not going to answer this text.
Okay, fair.
Speaking of dinner, it is Thanksgiving. And I will say, to Doug's credit, the man makes two things: bowl of cereal or 7-course Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, he loves Thanksgiving. He calls it Christmas without the gifts. We invite anybody who wants to come over can come over. I kind of like bring a folding chair, whatever you want to do. I get a little bit crazy about like, oh, the chairs aren't going to match, but whatever, I get out of my head about it. And we do the whole thing. So a girlfriend of mine who comes over every year, who I think you may have met.
Okay.
But our surrogate comes over.
Yep.
She's coming with her family, with I think one of her kids and her boyfriend. They're coming over. My mother-in-law will be there.
Yeah. Are your parents coming?
You know what? They're not. They're going to be in New York because my nieces are home from college, so they don't get to see them. So they'll see them, right? But we'll see. We'll all be together for Christmas. But we do the whole thing. We'll like fry a turkey and like do the sides and everything else. So this year, one of my girlfriends who I adore, she's like, if y'all need some help, I mean, you're so busy with the kids and whatever else. Like, she usually brings this delicious chopped broccoli salad and like some sort of like cranberry mold of some sort.
Ooh.
It's really good. She's like, and her now husband makes like a homemade cherry pie. I was like, this man sits there and pits cherries. Like,
impressive.
Very impressive, right? I'm not making you a pie. But this
so she
year,
wanted to help with the kids or the food.
This year, she's like, if it's too much for you, we could bring the turkey.
Did it seem like too much last year?
I'm like, do you not like the turkey? Like, what? I mean, and she's very frank, and we've been dear friends for a long time.
So what'd she say?
I mean, like one year she was like, hey, she's from Llano, and she was like, hey.
From where?
Llano, Texas.
Don't.
Oh, you've not been?
Not.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll bet you Heath knows where
Tell
it is.
me more.
I'll bet you Heath knows where it is. Like one year she was like, y'all, I'm making a turkey breast tomorrow. Like that'll be like the day after Thanksgiving. Y'all want to come over? I'm making a turkey breast since I didn't get any skin at turkey dinner. I'm like, oh.
Is that the kind of shade? Turkey shade.
But it begs the question again, we're, a 2-dad family, so we kind of split up. I'm more like tablescape and a couple of sides. Doug does do most of the heavy lifting. Although
the
one
turkey?
year, speaking of Googling things, I was like, hey, you have to peel the sweet potatoes before you boil them. He's like, no, you don't. You do it afterward. I was like, I think that you
can do both.
Have you ever tried to peel a boiling hot potato?
You have to let them cool, and then you. We
don't have that kind of time.
Then you cut them up and put them in the casserole dish. And
so, what are you? But I will say it's been a nice exercise, and we've talked about this often on the show. Asking for help is such an important part of being a parent.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, like let's.
So is she going to bring the turkey?
Totally. I was like to Doug, I was like, hey, he was like, done. I hate making the turkey. And I was like, perfect. And I mean, her husband, he'll like brine it and like talk dirty to it or whatever you do to make it, turkey moist. I don't know.
More tablescape time for you too. So that's good. I have high expectations for the tablescape.
But we do like we have a little bowl. So one of our traditions is everyone gets a little piece of paper in the shape of a leaf, and you get to write down something you're thankful for. And we put it into this big bowl, and we kind of have all of these little leaves from over the years.
Oh, that's
from our
beautiful.
Guests. Yeah.
That is really
kind of
beautiful.
Cute, right?
Yes, very cute. So
are you guys in town for Thanksgiving?
We have to be because I'm past there's no more traveling for me.
Oh, yeah.
Pregnancy travel.
Just the three of you for Thanksgiving or what?
Well, I am tempted. And if anyone's selling any tickets, let me know. I was not super interested in doing Thanksgiving at the Cowboys game.
Until now.
Dolly Parton's going to be there. Oh, and just the thought of going
Shania Twain was at Kettle Barons.
We had to decline that invite too on account of it. When I go to Kettle Barons, I want to drink a fair.
Right.
I want to drink my money's worth. I want to be out all night. I want to have the cutest outfit. I want to wear, and I just felt like Shania can't see me like this. This is not the state I want her to see me in. So we had to opt out of that. But now I'm thinking Dolly at the Cowboys game, because you're just sitting there. I have done back when I was single and first moved to Dallas. A friend of mine was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and so her sister and I went and spent Thanksgiving watching her cheer.
Oh, that's so fun!
And got a Thanksgiving dinner there and stuff. It was absolutely incredible. Honestly, such a great memory. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we start a new tradition of not cooking anything, going to the Cowboys game, seeing Dolly.
Well, that tradition will last 1 year because I don't think she's coming back next year.
Well, but I mean, it could be
seeing
like our
whomever,
new thing.
right.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. I love like a non-traditional, traditional. If you don't have a bunch of family around, right? And so we don't have any immediate family here, right in town. Sometimes we go to my in-laws, but it's a couple hours away. It's too far from the hospital.
You're welcome to come to our house.
Well, maybe we will. And now that we know we don't have to bring the turkey, because the turkey, that's the other thing too. Like,
bring nothing.
The nausea involved in like seeing the gizzards and the whatever else is in there.
Oh, you're
like
not
on a good year that brings me to like close to vomiting. But now, there's just no way. Yeah. There's just no way.
Speaking of non-traditional, you've alluded to before on the show. So when I was growing up, my mom was a Rockette. She danced at Radio City Music Hall, and one of my favorite Thanksgivings was because, of course, there's the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So she was in the parade in the city, and we went, and we got to see it, and then we went to like a Thanksgiving lunch at the Parker Meridian Hotel. I thought it was so fancy. And then we went to the music hall to see the show. And
goals.
There was, we don't really have time to get into it, but
long story. Come on, do it.
So when I was in fifth grade, I went to sleepaway camp for the first and only time. And it was okay. I was not, it was okay. And I remember to this day being so excited for Parents' Day because I had picked out this super cute white shorts and black t-shirt with like a white Nike logo on it. And I was like, oh, it matches perfectly. And then realized like the shorts were stained and I had to change into gray shorts, but whatever. It was a traumatic day. But my parents came. It was in Pennsylvania near where my grandparents had a lake house, right? And they came for Visitors' Day, and I didn't want them to go. I was like, please take me home with you. Please don't leave me here. And they were like, Stephen, we have to go. Like, we can't. We're both working, but so
right. They'd planned on it,
like
for
you're
here,
here,
and they paid for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, please take me home. If you loved me, you'd take me with you. My dad's like, I'm working. And in a strange turn of events, usually there's not a show at the music hall during the summer. There happened to be one that summer. It was Disney Summer Magic, and my mom was dancing in it with the Rockettes. And I was like, please. My mom's like, Stephen, what are you going to do? I have to be at the music hall. What are you going to sit in the audience for 5 shows a day? And I was like, zoom, bags packed, in the car, honking the horn, like, let's go. It was the best summer ever. I don't know.
Wait, so she didn't make you go to sleepaway camp?
They took me home, and I don't know how she pulled it off, but she would get me a ticket to every show. I would sit right down in the orchestra, and I would watch. I mean, I had this show memorized, right? And when the show was over, I was because it was just me. I was sitting. I mean, fifth grade. What are you? 10, 11?
I don't know.
Right?
In Dallas, you're 27.
Right. In Dallas, you're 27 if you play football. But back then, you're probably 10 years old, right? And I remember after the show, I had to get up and leave the theater, leave Radio City, and go out onto the streets of New York City and around the corner to the stage door where I would meet my mom. And when I tell you, it was like the young gay kid inside of me dying to get out was living his best life. It was the best summer ever. I really have to ask her how she got all those tickets to I would sit in that.
Moms do you know how it is as a parent? Like you just do anything. She might not have made any money that week. You know what I mean? Like she might have been on StubHub of the 80s, you know?
90, no, it was the 80s. It was the 80s. But and they had, after the show, they had a movie. So during the movie, we would like go to lunch and go shopping and like,
she didn't make any money that week.
None.
That summer.
None. I mean, it was the best. And I remember to this day, and if this book in my mind ever happens, this is definitely a story for it. There was one dance that they would do, and the final pose was like, it's 32 or 36 women, in unison. And the final pose was one of their hands extended straight up in the air. And hers was straight up in the air. And she looked at me and she winked and she gave me a boop, boop with her hand, like a little wave.
Like outside the choreography.
Right, outside the choreography. No one is moving except my mom, who waved at me in the audience, and I felt so special.
You were so special. I'm so glad she made that
we just went down a rabbit hole.
No, I love that rabbit hole. Who cares about Thanksgiving? Become a rockette. I think the lesson is, as a mom, become a rockette, skip out on all the traditional kid things, take your child to do whatever they want to do, and when in doubt, skip the choreography and wave to Steve.
When in doubt, skip the choreography. That is today's lesson.
Yes, I love it. Also, if you're watching on the video version, which most people don't, like if you don't look at our YouTube views and judge us on account of our YouTube views, because
people don't watch on YouTube.
Nobody's watching on YouTube. But for the two of you who are, Steve hooked us up with
such cute merch, right? Yeah. We have our Yetis with our names on them and our logo. And I have to say, you're wearing this like super cute, like kind of bat-winged one-piece tunic of some sort,
be like
floor length,
pregnancy chic.
Yeah,
and I've been still wearing my heels.
Honestly,
that
would work for Thanksgiving. I would have said
I should save this. Well, do you think Dolly will like it if I get to see her? If I can get a ticket?
Oh my God, I would die. I would honestly skip out on my own Thanksgiving to join.
Yes, you should.
I'd be like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yes. Dolly, I can't believe she's doing it. Honestly, I'm like, really?
Oh, I can.
I can, but I guess the Cowboys game seems so accessible.
Yeah.
In comparison to all the things she does. So anyway.
I love it. Okay. So anyway, the point of our talk today, Thanksgiving traditions. Did we even get to you? I know that Christmas, you had to go out into the nether regions of Idaho and cut down a tree.
Listen, Thanksgiving was the same. We were homemade.
You shot a turkey.
We were Amish. We were, all of the
churning butter.
All of the wholesome churning butter things. Very, very 100% homemade, nothing from a box. And so that's a big expectation to live up to. As a as a grown-up working woman working in a different generation.
I mean, your mom makes her own jam.
She makes her own jam. She makes everything from scratch, like crusts, and maybe the marshmallows might even be from scratch on the top. But I've had to go a little bit more semi-homemade. What was that lady? Sandra Lee. Anyway, Sandra Lee.
Sarah Lee?
No, there was a semi-homemade. She was married to or together with one of the Cuomos.
Oh, I have no idea.
Anyway, she did this semi-homemade thing. And so often I think like, I'm a little semi-homemade. I will make the whole meal. And I've done it several times in my adult life, but it's not my favorite thing. And I might be fine if I just ate like whatever they're serving at the Cowboy Stadium.
Or is it AT&T Stadium?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to call it that now. I don't know. They didn't pay me. I still pay my AT&T bill.
All right. We'd like you to call out your Thanksgiving traditions, share your recipes, or do whatever you want to do. But listen, one thing I know that I am grateful for is this new project with you, which I guess now at this point isn't as new as it had been, but certainly a great experience for, I know for me, I hope for you as well.
It is giving me life. I look forward to this on the weekends when we record these and just connecting and being able to talk for more than 2 minutes at a time.
All right. If you want to hear for more than 2 minutes, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button. And remember, we are on Amazon Podcasts. We're on Google. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on YouTube. If you want to check out what it is, the visuals that we're talking about. And if you do nothing else today, go ahead and find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for. See ya.